Hey, thank you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about a very important topic: how to find buyers for your export product. In fact, this is the most important topic that individuals, businesses, government organizations, agencies, they are looking for solution to this problem. They are looking for ways to find buyers for businesses. Now, I understand this very well. In fact, I was once in a situation where we were so, I don't know how to describe it, but we found ourselves in a very difficult position because we had signed an agreement that we were going to find buyers for a lot of companies, right? Now, how did we get into this position? Now, during the COVID, right, I had nothing doing. Our two warehouses, one in Houston and one in Atlanta, was shut down. And so I said, you know what, let me start teaching businesses how to export and bring their products to the USA, right? And I went on YouTube, did a couple of videos, and before you know it, so many people started sending their products for me to sell in the USA. And, I now said, look, for us to have this huge number of requests, there is a need for this. And I went back home. I went back to Nigeria. I started teaching in Nigeria, started teaching in Ghana, teaching businesses how to sell. And in one of the teachings that I was doing in Nigeria, there was an official of an organization called the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. And he was like, look, we like what you're doing. We believe in you. Come to our organization. And they gave me a grant. Like a week later, I went to visit them. They gave us a grant to help businesses find buyers. And then we had like businesses coming in, 20, 30, over 100 businesses. And we took their products, took it to the USA, and we could not find buyers for these products. And that's the same situation many of you are. You've taken your products to the USA. You think, oh, I have a wonderful product. I have an amazing product. It's selling well locally. But when you go there, nobody is paying interest. And that was the situation we found ourselves. So I had to tell my team, you know what? There's something fundamentally wrong. And then we went back, in fact, we shut down operations for like 3 to 6 months. And I started studying. Why is this happening? Why is it that you have a product that is doing well in Africa, but when you take it to the USA, it's difficult to find buyers for those products? When you go for exhibitions, so many businesses are in the same shoes. You've paid thousands of dollars, you go to exhibitions in the USA, and nothing happens. We started finding the solution. And what I'm going to be talking about today is basically the solution that we found, the issues that we found. And when we started implementing this solution that we found, we started seeing results. We've had companies that come in within 3 to 4 months, they are doing $60,000. They go to any store, they get an order. What changed? Right? And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, if you stay till the end of this video, I always like people, because a lot of times I throw in key pieces of information at the end of my video. I'm going to give you a solution that is amazing. In fact, I'm going to give you about $2,000 worth of free training. These are materials and trainings that I do for companies, and they, I can't go to a company to teach them for free. So I do some of those things and they pay a lot of money. Now I'm going to give it absolutely free. That solution is going to show you how to start an export business, the key documentations that you need. Is going to show you how to set up an account, the right way to sell on Amazon. I'm going to give you 45 days free warehousing in my US warehouse, because again, a lot of you need that warehousing and distribution to be successful in your export business, right? And then so many other things that I'm going to offer in that free training. So just stay till the end and I'll show you all the details. So let's get moving. Right? Today I'm going to talk about how to find buyers. There are 3 key things I'm going to talk about. The first one is going to amaze you. The first one is, who is a buyer? Surprising? I know a lot of you know who a buyer is, Yes. But the mistake we make is not getting into the mindset who is a buyer before we try to sell to them. So let me give you an example. A lot of you African businesses, what you do is that you have a brother or a sister out there in the USA, and you send your products to them and they tell you, oh, don't worry, I'm going to help you find buyers. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 months, nothing has happened. Now, for those of you who have the capital, what some of you do is that you hear about conferences out there and you go for that conference. You carry your product, your African product, the way it is, you take it to USA, and you are amazed that at the end of the day, not a single person is giving you a contract. The question is, why? Because you don't know who is a buyer. Now, there are two types of buyers, the way I describe buyers, based on our research. One is the person who needs your item to meet a need. So these are the direct buyers. What is the need they are meeting? You need to understand that need in order to know how to position your product. Now, let me give you an example. I have seen a business person, there's a company that was working with us, and they sell locally in Nigeria and Africa. They sell 5-kilogram bags of their product, right? And they tried for so many years to sell the same 5-kilogram bag in the US, right? And then when we came to analyze it, we told them, look, let's reduce this from 5 kilogram to 1 kilogram. As soon as they did that, they started selling. It's important. You need to understand the needs of your buyers before you say, let me go and find buyers. What works in Africa is typically not going to work in the USA. Now, the second type of buyers are those that are using your product to make more money. And who are those? The retail stores, the restaurants, if you're selling food. But again, it's the retail stores, those that are in business. So the question is, what is it that they need that will make them more money? And this is where a lot of you businesses get it wrong. And this is from our research. A lot of retail stores that you are going to, what is it that you tell them? Oh, you look at the price that they are selling this product, and they are selling it for $5, they are buying it for $2, and you tell them, you know what, I can supply this product to you for $1.50. And at the end of the day, they don't buy. The question is, do you think it's just because your product is cheaper is what is going to make them to buy from you? No. That's the biggest mistake, the biggest misconception a lot of you have had. And those buyers are not just looking for the cheapest product. They are looking for a product that offers maximum value to their customers, to those that come to their store. What is value? It could be defined in many ways, but you need to be able to look at your product and say, does this product offer value? And that's the first thing we do when we are trying to help a company. We look at their product, we look at the existing products that are there on the shelves, the existing products that they are competing with, and we try to see how we can improve on the value of that existing product. There are many ways to do it. It could be just rebranding, it could be just repackaging, it could be just changing the color, it could be increasing the quantity inside. But again, one thing we have seen over and over again, it's not necessarily the cheapest product that gets you the buyers, especially when you are dealing with the big retail stores. So now you understand that a buyer is somebody who needs your product, but they don't need the product you have. They need the product that their buyers, their consumers need. So have you modified your product to be like what their consumers need? You need to understand it. Now, the second thing I'm going to talk about is 3 things you must do before you try to look for buyers. 3 things to do before finding buyers. And there are 3 of them. One is you must run what I call a profitability analysis. This is one analysis. This is where so many businesses get it wrong. You're trying to sell a product, you don't even know how profitable it is going to be. You see, one of the things you need to understand is that when I'm selling a product direct to a buyer, direct to a consumer, the price I'm going to sell to them will typically be different from the price I will sell on Amazon. If you are selling on Amazon, you have to consider the Amazon FBA fee. You have to consider the Amazon seller fee. is going to be different. If I'm selling that same product to a retail store, the price I'm going to sell to a retail store is going to be different from what I sell to Amazon. We had sellers that made this, and this was the period that we did not really understand the concept. We had sellers who we started on Amazon, and they are selling a product for $19. And then we come to them and say, look, we have a retailer that needs your product. How much are you going to sell? And they will come back to us and say, oh, they want to sell it for $16. It doesn't work. When you do the analysis, you see that that product could be any product. At the end of the day, Amazon will subtract maybe $8 depending on the weight. They have to ship it. They have to pay their seller fee. So you are getting a return of $11. So if you were getting a return of $11 and it was good for you, why do you want to sell it to the retail store for $16? You need to understand this. And in this concept, when we start talking about the profitability analysis, there's what we call base minimum price. I'm the only one that talks about it, again, because of the experience I have seen. When you know your base minimum price, you are going to be able to have a standard. And then from that base minimum price, you begin to add different amounts depending on who you are selling to. And when we do base minimum price computation, we have to be able to know what is your base minimum price for air, what is your base minimum price for sea. And then you begin to see, if I'm selling to a retail store, I have to use this channel. If I'm selling on Amazon, this is the best channel. If I'm selling direct to consumers, this is the best channel. So again, profitability analysis. And when you do this, it shows you how much profit, once you've determined your base minimum price, your minimum profit that you are willing to accept, anything above that is extra profit for you. So many businesses go into export without knowing this, and that's why they can't find buyers. I'm telling you, I was in our Houston warehouse one time. A gentleman came in, and he said he just came in from Nigeria, and he wants to bring in Gari to sell. Gari is cassava flakes, a lot of you know it. And he brought in the Gari. In fact, I was so shocked. A week later, this man had, not a week, like 2-3 weeks later, this man had gone back home and he used air freight to bring in Gari. He did his calculation. He went to the retail store and saw that, let me use an example, he saw that they were selling a pack for about $13. He did his calculation and said, you know what, I'm going to sell to them for $10. And then when he did all the calculation, you probably landed for maybe about $7-8. And he was like, oh yeah, that's enough profit. What happened? After 9 months, he did not sell a single piece of that. Why? Because he did not do his profitability analysis. If he had done his analysis, he had gone to those stores and understood how much they are buying. Again, remember, retail stores, they have a lot of costs. They have to pay their workers, they have to pay utilities. If I tell you how much some of those retail stores pay in retail bills, I know how much we pay monthly in our 2 warehouses. So you need to understand the mind of your retailers before you doing that. And that is where you do the profitability analysis. And when you do this, you begin to see that the price that you're going to offer retail stores is going to be substantially different from what you will sell on Amazon. It will be different from what you will sell direct to your consumers, right? So again, this is the first step. There are processes to do with. Now I have a link, another video down below where I talk more about profitability analysis, but don't just jump there. Wait till the end of this series before you go down in the description. Now, the second thing you have to do is what I call demand analysis. Remember when I talked about who is a buyer? A buyer is somebody who has a demand for your product. So how do you know if there's a demand for your product? You need to do demand analysis. How do we do it? There are many ways. You can walk right to the stores and see the products that they are selling. But again, seeing the products that they are selling doesn't give us the indication that those products are flying off the shelf. They could be products that have been there for a long time that are not moving quickly. Now you can talk to the retail managers if the stores are going to be willing to talk to you and tell them, okay, this is, and find out if those products are moving. But the fastest way we have seen that works is by using data from Amazon. Amazon does about $30-something billion every month. So they have a lot of data on products that are moving quickly. And there are ways to do it. You have tools that you can use to do it. Now, that is a completely separate video, but at the end of the day, when you do your demand analysis, you're going to first of all know if there are people that are looking for that particular product, right? We have ways to do it. Again, it's not something I'm going to be able to cover in this video, because if I start to cover the demand analysis, it may take us another 2-3 hours just to do that. But the key thing I need you to know is that before you start thinking of finding buyers, start thinking of export, you must know about the demand for your product. Now, the third one is what I call rebranding. And this will typically include repackaging. What do I mean by rebranding? Again, what works locally for you will not work in the USA. The type of packaging that you use here will typically not work here. The type of sizing you use here will typically not work in the USA. So you need to take a look at the products that people are buying through your demand analysis to determine what type of packaging you're going to do. These are the 3 key pillars. Again, do not go into export if you have not done these 3. It is the reason most businesses fail to be successful when they are going into export. And again, like I said, when you do the profitability analysis, you need to know things like your base minimum price, all those things that are there ready for you to sell. So again, that is the second thing you need to do when you are trying to find buyers. Now, the third thing you need to do is, this is 2. Now, the third thing is who and where are my buyers. You need to know where they are. You need to know. You know, one of the biggest issues I see when I do conferences, when I do events, and you have 1,000, 500, 700 people, businesses turn up, the first thing that everybody is telling me is, this is my product, get me the buyer. Who is demanding your product for me to get you a buyer? You need to first of all do these things. So, who and where are your buyers? Now, I've taken a little note of this C. Again, remember I said your buyers are typically divided into 2. The direct users, who are the people, right? And you need to know where they are. Where are they? They are on social media. Everybody's on social media. They are on Instagram. They are on Facebook. So how do you find those buyers? You need to be able to run adverts targeting those buyers. Look, social media is the way to go. A lot of businesses come to us and they say, find me buyers. You know where we typically start from? We typically start from social media. There are people looking for your product everywhere. They are there. Which is cheaper for us to do? To find those direct buyers online, or to go and start knocking at every door. But again, you need to have the expertise to find these people, right? We have businesses who are doing $30,000, $40,000 without stepping a foot. They are doing this via direct and targeted marketing on social media. It's a complete process. I talk about this in my 2-day series. I have a 2-day series that I call Export Product Development. And in the Export Product Development, I take you through a series of going through the profitability, the demand, and the rebranding to develop that exact product. You see, one of the things we see when we run that Export Product Development series is that a lot of you come in thinking they're going to sell A, B, C, and at the end of the day, they discover that none of those products is what pushing into the export market. So that is one. Now, the second set of buyers are the companies, right? So I talked about the people, right? And these, I will tell you to go online to find them. They are there. You will find buyers. The challenge is that a lot of people just want to sit down and let the buyers come to you. It doesn't work that way. Now, the second are companies, and this could be retail stores. So where do you find these people? Again, this is the people that most of you want to deal with. But again, these people can be found. The companies, the businesses, it depends on the type of product you're selling. Let me give an example. A lot of people think that when you are selling food products, especially Africans, for African businesses, they think the number one place to sell your food products is to African stores. But I can tell you it's not. We've found over 20-something channels where you can sell your food products. I'll give you some. Number one, let's start with the retail stores. There are two types of retail stores, and the strategy you use to attack each of them is different. The first type of retail stores, and these are more than 50% of the stores in most countries in the USA, are single owner-owned retail stores. These are retail stores that is just one person that owns it, and they are everywhere. The strategy you use to attack those people is different from the strategy you're going to use to attack the second type of retail stores, which are the multi-chains, those that have multiple locations everywhere. When you are dealing with a single retail store, typically you need to have access to the owner, the buyer, because most times the owner is the buyer. But when you are looking at multi-chain, they have buying departments. They have people whose job is just to buy for all the chains. The strategy to attack each of these people are different. So you need to know. Now, for food business again, who else are the type of buyers? Again, we're talking about who and where to find them. Restaurants. A lot of people don't even think about marketing to restaurants. Restaurants are some of your best buyers. Many don't think. And again, when you talk about restaurants, you have the individual restaurants and what? The multi-chain restaurants. How do you get to them? You go to those restaurants. Look, they use virtually anything that you are thinking of. But most people don't consider them when they are. I'm just giving food as an example. Talk about food again. Who else could be your potential buyers? Convenience stores, the gas stations. You go to a gas station, what is the thing you see? You see all types of packaged foods that they sell. And again, gas stations are divided into those that own 1 or 2 units and the multi-chain. You have some gas stations that have various locations. They make a lot of money from those products that they sell. You go in there, a piece of candy that you're going to buy in Walmart for $2, they will sell it for $9 in a gas station. And people buy because those things are impulse purchase, right? So again, there are many ways. The same food, who else are your potential buyers? Amazon. Yes, I know on Amazon and eBay, they are the indirect buyers, but that is where the buyers come to. So again, depending on like I said, for food alone, we have identified over 20 channels where you can sell your food products. And one of the things that you need to know, I see this all the time, is that people think you can stay in Africa and get buyers for all length of it. Doesn't work. Look, 95% of the successful exporters from Africa, they have some form of direct connection, either in the US or Canada or the UK, where they are selling. Why? Because when you take a look at the small retail stores, I already told you they are probably over 50% of the retail stores are the small retail stores. So what is it that you're going to see? Are you going to be able to stay in Africa and tell them, oh, this is my... No, you're going to need the ability to walk into the store and talk to them. And that's one of the things we do. We now have a unit, we have staffs who will take your product and do that on your behalf, because we found that is the way to go. When you go to those retail stores, you know what they're going to tell you? They're going to tell you, oh, my boss is not around. When he's around, he will look at your product. You can drop a sample. If you are back home in Africa, how is that going to work? And that's why a lot of you find it difficult finding buyers for your product. Again, I didn't say you can't find, but if you want to build a sustainable business where you have multiple people that you are selling to grow your business, you must have some form of presence. And that's how you find buyers. Now let's talk about the big chains, the multi-chains. Their own process is different. They have buyers that are designed to buy for the whole chain of stores. And one of the things you need to know is that a lot of those chains, they don't, some of you say, oh, I've been trying to buy for sell to them. When I send email, they don't respond. They may not respond. Why? Because they already have people there. Some of them have brokers that they go to. To get to some of those chains, you may need to find a broker that already works with them. You may need to know the period when they do product review. It's not every time that they are looking for buyers for a certain product. It's typically once in 6 months or once a year that a particular category of products, they will be looking for new products for that category. So if you are reaching out to them outside of those periods, they will not answer you. Look, I'm giving you tidbits here that we have seen based on the research that we have done. And I'm working with some of the best companies out there who help you find buyers. A lot of what we do has data analysis. When you take a look at some of these stores, these big companies, you need to understand, again, like I said, what they are looking for their buyers. What also are they looking to achieve? And that's why a lot of you, when you go to them and say, oh, my pricing is the lowest, they will think, oh, you want to bring some crappy product for me. Oh, no, I cannot sell that to my buyers. So again, understand this. So again, that is it. I'm not going to talk more on this. But again, the process of finding buyers is very meticulous. You have to take time. You must first of all understand who your buyer is, what they are looking for in the product that you want to sell. You must understand the 3 things you have to do before you start finding buyers: the profitability analysis, the demand analysis, and there is always a need to rebrand your product based on what your buyers need. And the last thing you need to understand is who and where are my buyers. You need to know where they are and how to reach out to them. This is an area that we specialize in, right? So if you need help, if you have been struggling finding buyers, when you come to us, the first thing we're going to do is to revamp all of this, give you, first of all, set you up well before we start pushing it to these people. Right? Like I said, we have a team that does this, right? So again, those are the key things. Those are the reasons, those are the challenges you have been finding it difficult to find buyers. And if you follow this process, I can tell you for a fact, your chances of succeeding has gone up drastically. Now, I always like to talk about this because, again, I see so many Africans, so many businesses who are trying to get into export, but they don't know how to. And that's why I offer a $2,000 training absolutely free. Yes, when I started this training, I used to charge some of the big companies over $2,000 to do it. And I'm giving it now absolutely free. All you need to do is just register in the link below. Type it in your browser, register. I'm going to show you how to get started with export business. I'm going to give you 45 days free warehousing. And again, warehousing in the USA is very important. You must be able to, and that's when you start talking to companies. You must be able to have your products locally so that when you are talking to all those buyers, it's easy. If they see that your company is based in Africa and you're trying to sell products to them, they will not buy from you. I'm telling you for a fact. And that is why most of the retail stores, if you walk into most of the African stores, a lot of their products are not even from Africa. Why? Because the African businesses think, oh, they have to first get an order before they ship. But it doesn't work that way because the retail stores want predictability. Imagine if a retail store, an African store, had to depend on all his buyers to be from Africa. What if there's a delay in shipping? Their store becomes empty. And I'm telling you, over 80% of the products sold, even in the African stores, are not from Africa because the African businesses do not understand that you need to have local warehousing, a local presence for your product to sell. And that's why in this free $2,000 free series I'm giving you, I will also give you 45 days free access to our warehouse so that you can have your products there and you can use it to build your distribution system. I show you so many things. In that free series, I will also show you how to register an Amazon account so you can sell from Africa right on Amazon. Look, Amazon is big. Forget it. It is the big kahuna when it comes to retail sales. We've seen some big companies doing $50 million in annual sales, but at the end of the day, 30 to 40 million of that is coming from Amazon. So you cannot avoid, you can't say, oh, I do not want to sell on Amazon, except there's a special reason why you don't. You must know how to sell on Amazon. So again, click the link below, register for this free series, and I'll see you in that lecture. In that lecture, I also give you access to a monthly one-on-one series with me, where I will be answering your questions. Right? It's a group coaching, because there's a lot of people that want to learn. But again, I have the opportunity to pick a few questions and answer. So again, that is it. Now, for those of you who want to go even deeper, right? I have a paid series. It's a 2-day series that I call Export Product Development, EPD. EPD is Export Product Development. And in this series, we go deep into profitability analysis. We go deep into demand analysis. We go deep into rebranding. The 3 key things you must do before you even start talking to buyers. We go deep in that series. Again, it's also there in the description. You can join. It's a series that I have on a monthly basis via Zoom, and you can learn a lot from there. So again, like I said, I understand the challenges most of you are having. If I did not have a situation where I had to find buyers for, close to 100 companies, I would not know the problem, the things that need to be done to find buyers. So again, trust me on this, right? The first thing I want you to do, if you're watching me right now, is to sign up on that free link now. Join my other series where I'm going to give you so many things absolutely free. And again, for those of you who have followed my teaching here, if you want to implement this on your own, I've given you everything you need. You must know how profitable your product is before you start. Demand and rebranding, and again, know who your buyer is, what is it that they want, know where they are, know how to reach out to them. If you follow this process, I guarantee you're going to be successful in your export business. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another series shortly. Bye.